Hi everyone, this is Professor McGee and I'm here with a brief intro for your brochure project. Now what you want to do is just, if you're using Canva, you want to just choose this. It's a brochure, or you can put in the custom dimensions. Really what we're doing for any brochure that's going to have just two sides and be like a basic 6-panel design, okay, is you're going to take an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and turn it on its side. So it's 11 by 8.5 if you end up putting in the custom dimensions, or if you're using another program to do the design. So I'm just going to choose this. It's just the 11 by 8.5. So it's a sideways piece of regular paper. Okay, and then the first thing that you want to do is you want to add your second page. All right, so I'm going to add the new page. All right, now the thing to remember is that in order to really print this out, what you would have to do is print the first page, and then you would have to take the piece of paper out of the printer, figure out how your printer, works, and get it to print on the second side. So that can be a little tricky. You don't really have to worry about that because you don't have to print it. Although I would hope at some point you would be proud of it and want to print it. But so really, what you need to understand too is there's all different types of brochures, and they're folded in a lot of different ways. This is a very basic trifold brochure that we're working on. There's Z folds, trifolds, accordion folds, panel folds. There's all kinds of folds. Okay, but for what we're working on, this is a pretty traditional. It's a pretty traditional design, so that this becomes. So where we would distribute this would be a vet's office, and so in the reason I got that idea was because in my vet's office, there's tons and tons and tons of displays of brochures. And all you see is this one panel. This is what shows in the display. Okay, so this is the most important real estate for side one of your design. Okay, so then the key thing to remember about this space here is this must be your whole front design, and it must be standalone. So in other words, you can't rely on somebody seeing this panel too to make it all work. It's just this panel. Okay, so you want to treat the layout like we did for the flyer projects. Either you're using an image as the whole canvas, okay, and then you're putting text over that, or you're using a grid, okay, but you've got to use the grid in such a way that you don't want to have just a picture like a squared out picture of a dog like on the front cover, even if there's a background behind it. It must be integrated and it's got to look seamless. So that's really your most important job, okay, for this part of it. Now, so this is the first page that you're going to work on. Here, this is the back center. So once it's all folded, okay, so we call this a trifold, or it could be a Z-fold. I like to think of it as a Z-fold because when you actually fold it and if you look down on top of it, it does look like a Z. And so a Z-fold, this is the first thing that shows, and then when you open it, you see these two panels on the inside. This is your whole inside spread. And you see these first two panels, and then when it's fully opened, you just reveal the third. So what can happen down here is while this has to be its own contained space, this doesn't here. This you can, and in fact, you are expected to like break a grid. So you could use these two grids as one area and do like something standalone on the third. You could divide it into even more grids. You could do photographs on the bottom. You can have all your text on the top. However you want to do it. You can do a typographic furniture, crossing grids. That's what will happen on page 2. So what happens here from the front, you have to think, okay, so whatever you're going to lead with, like find out why your vet loves our food, then what you're going to look for in here is going to be, you're going to continue, you're going to finish the thought. This is where the most important information that you have belongs, on these two panels, because this is where somebody's going to look next. Now there is another fold that you might have seen or you might encounter that actually puts it, you go from the front to where this, the front left panel is the thing that you see when you first open it. You see, so you see let's say you have the front cover, you pick it up, come down here, and you would open it, you would see this, but then this would be folded over. Again, I know this gets a little confusing. Don't worry about it, okay? Because whatever information this is not your most important information. It is important, so it's going to really depend on what you want to have here. You could do, this is where companies use this for like about us. They might have a mission statement. They might just use it for a discount, testimonials. There's all good uses for this space back here. But you really kind of want to wait on that because you're not really sure, you know, you have to get your whole design concept down first. But this is really the other spot that is the most definitive. It's your back cover. This you're either, so the way that you would do this in real life would be, you would either leave a part of this blank, so it would be a mailer, or you would just treat it as the company information. Sometimes you might have a company photograph. We don't have one, but so it's going to be the contact information. You know, we love to hear from you. The social, you know, follow us on, you know, social media, that kind of thing. So this is going to be the contact information back here because we're not mailing, so we don't need a mailer space. All of this can just be contact information. So you really don't want to put any key selling information or brand information back here. Okay, so for this week, the first thing let's do is I want you to really come up with your cover concept. Okay, so whatever's going to go on here will continue when you open it later. You do want to highlight, you know, ask your vet for a free sample somewhere, because that's just one more reason for someone to open the brochure to find out how to get the free sample from their vet. Okay, so one of the things I do recommend is that you actually take a piece of paper and just label it, and so kind of get your head around, you know, how it's folded, but don't worry about it so much. All you really need to know is that this is your front cover, this is the back center, okay, and that when you open it, this is all of this is the most important real estate. This is your whole inside spread. Okay, let me know if you have questions, and I will see you on the discussion board.